Hello and welcome back to Cast On, a knitting podcast where I talk about my finished objects, my whips, some yarn acquisitions and some more knitting things. My name is Ellie, I'm from Austria and this is episode number 42. Hello, I hope you're all doing really well. I am so excited for this episode because I have quite a lot to show you. My mojo is back. I wouldn't say in full swing, but it is coming back and I am really happy about this because now I can make all of the gorgeous projects that I have been wanting to cast on for a while. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, any beverage and your knitting, and let's get started with the episode. I have got some tea as well. It is extremely hot, that's why it's still on the floor, but today I have the English tea shop organic apple, rosehip and cinnamon. I can really recommend this tea. It's extremely nice. It's not really strong. I'm more of a fruit tea kind of person, so it's not super strong, but it's really nice and cozy. Right. Let's start with finished objects, and I am wearing the one and the only Dornie sweater by Rebecca Clow. I have finished this garment and I am so happy with how this piece has turned out. I only blocked it a few days ago and it was dry I think yesterday, and I had to wear it immediately and I'm not taking it off anymore. It is so comfortable, so warm, and the fabric has softened even more. I mean, before it was already super soft, but now this is just like wearing a cloud and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna put you a bit further away so I can show you what it looks like. So here is my hip. It is a bit longer than hip length than what I normally have my sweaters at. And then on the side you have the rib, both on the sleeve and the body. As I was saying, I am really happy with how this has turned out. I was very worried at first with the ribbing, or not worried, but hesitant, I would say. I mentioned that in a few episodes before because you have some ribbing on the underarms and on the sides, and I just didn't expect that. I thought this garment was a full-on all-around cable sweater, so I was a little bit disappointed there, but it actually makes it fit really well. It is not super tight, but it's also, it doesn't have a lot of positive ease, which is a good combination for me, and that is due to the ribbing. I have blocked this and I stretched out the sleeves more, so now they are really good length, and before they were, I don't know, short by this much, and now when I'm wearing it, it just hits my wrist really nicely. The only thing I have to say is I cast off the neckband a bit too tightly. I knit it down and it is very tight, like there's almost no give to it. I might have to unpick that and redo it. I couldn't be bothered to be honest, because for me, once a garment is finished, I don't really want to alter it anymore or touch it anymore. But that's the only complaint I have really. Apart from that, it's super cozy, like I said, and I know that that is due to the yarn. I used Filcolana Tilia, which is my favorite mohair, in the color 363, and I held it with a strand of World of Wool marble. The sun is coming out, so the light changes. In the color Sandalwood. I've shown this many times before now. This is 80% merino wool and 20% silk, and due to the silk content, I'm sure that is why it's so soft and squishy. I have some leftovers, as you can see. I have a full ball and maybe half of it of the other one. The mohair is almost used up completely, which is really good. I did say last time that I don't want any leftovers of this yarn. Well, turns out that I do have leftovers, because when I knitted, or when I finished the body, I thought there's nowhere in the world that I can use up these two balls completely and not have it super long. So excuse me, there's something in my throat. I am fine up until the moment where I want to record the podcast, and then something happens in my throat and everything just goes downhill. As I was saying, I didn't want any leftovers, but turns out that I do have some, because it would have just been way too long. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I'm not sure if I can do a lot of things with that quantity. I don't think it's even enough for a hat or something really small. So I was thinking about I think it's called the Stella cushion from Laura Penrose. Very popular pattern right now. Maybe it goes into something like this. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it in my scrappy yarn stash and be really happy with this project. It did drag, I'm not gonna lie. It did take a really long time to make. I am very proud of myself that I did it, and the cables look really gorgeous. I do like making cables, but after a while it just hurts my hands, and yeah. But I am finished, it's done. I can now have it in my wardrobe. I think the color is also really nice compared to my skin tone. Normally I'm not like an orangey browny, well, not brown, but more so orange person, but I just really liked the look of this color and I thought I had to get it. So this is the finished Dornie. Finally it has ended. And we can now move on to whips. Let's get you closer again. I have some new whips and some old whips, so I'm in the middle now. Let's start with the old whip. Something that you have also seen for a really long time, because I cast it on at the same time as the Dornie, is my Colette Pullover by Sari Nordlund. I still don't have a collar, but I have picked up the sleeve. I am making size 1. I forgot I made size 3 for the Dornie sweater, but you can always check out my Ravelry page. I have those things on there as well. So this is what it looks like. Last time I finished the body and I literally just picked up the sleeve. I completely lost steam on this project because this has been going on for such a long time as well, just like the Dornie, that I really can't be bothered at the moment. I did pick up the sleeve to maybe help with that, and because I'm following the t-shirt pattern and I don't actually own the pullover pattern, I kind of have to wing it because I don't know what the sleeve is actually meant to look like. So I am just decreasing wherever I see fit, and I hope that is going to be okay. I also hope that it's not too tight, because what I've noticed is that my gauge is different on the sleeve than it is on the body, so I might have to change to a bigger needle size. I am using 3.5mm needles at the moment. I use the same size for the body, but because it's a small circumference, I think I hold the yarn a lot tighter. So this is the sleeve and it does not look super wide. Like, I know with blocking you can generally get some width as well, but not gonna lie, I'm a bit worried. I have to try it on and see if I can even like fit my arm through it comfortably. The yarn that I'm using is Biches Bûches, lambswool and their Silk Mohair, both in beige grey. I showed this many times now. Really like this yarn combination. It gives a really nice colour, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this reacts after blocking, if it does become even softer or not, or essentially just what's going to happen. So yeah, not a lot of progress on this. I have one more ball of the lambswool left, and I think another one of the Silk Mohair. I could be wrong on that. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work out, but I guess we'll just have to see. I want to finish up this ball for the sleeve first, then do the collar, and then do the other sleeve, and pray that I still have enough. I should do in theoretical terms, because I bought enough yarn, or the recommended yardage that the pattern recommended, so we'll have to see. This is a bit better now, I think, in terms of lighting, not as dark anymore. Right, the sun is out and it does change the lighting. I am very happy to have the sun out because it's been lovely here. We had, as many people say, the faux spring weather, and I can't say I'm mad about it. It was really nice walking through the park at Schönbrunn with the sun out and then sitting on a bench and just being in nature. But for filming, it's not ideal. Anyways, temperatures have also been fairly warm, so that kind of makes me happy, but at the same time sad, because that means I won't be able to wear my beautiful sweaters anymore because it gets too hot too fast. Anyways, back to the project. I don't think there's anything else to say. As you can see, I really just have absolutely no progress on it. Yeah, lost steam on it. I might have to pick it up again now that I have finally picked up the sleeve, because what I found with me is that I don't want to work on a project if I have to pick stitches up. And especially with drop shoulders, you have to completely pick up all of the stitches. With raglans, you can just slide them on. But that is kind of what's holding me back. That's also why I still haven't done the collar, because I know I have to go around and pay attention and pick up the sleeves, the stitches, sorry. And I can't be bothered with this at the moment. Anyways, I am slowly working on this. But for now, it goes back into my project bag. This bag is not big enough for this project. Right. That is something that you have seen before. Another thing that I have worked on is my Pippin sweater by the Knit Purl girl. I did not have a lot of progress last time and the time before when I cast it on, but I have made some progress because yesterday I went to a knit night for the first time with this group, and I worked on it for 2 hours, I think, almost 2 hours, and I have made some progress. So the Pippin sweater by the Knit Purl girl, I am making size 2, and this is what it looks like. This is what I have so far. A nice round circle. It is a raglan sweater. I believe it's even a compound raglan. I could be wrong on that. I've not fully read through the pattern. I just always follow it along when it tells me what to do. But this is what it looks like. I think the stitches are just so nice, like the texture. I fell in love with the texture visually when she showed it for the first time, and I knew I needed that sweater because it just looked really, really good. And I think I have achieved that with this yarn as well. The yarn that I'm using is Drops Daisy. It is 100% extra fine merino non-superwash in the colour Marzipan. This is colour number 2. It is a DK weight and you get 110 meters in it. I'm almost done with the first ball. I only have a little bit left, this much, and I have loads of stitch markers in here. Oops. I have to take them out. This yarn is really, really nice to work with. It is very squishy, very bouncy. I haven't checked my gauge yet. I think I am a bit on the tighter side because of the yarn, because just look at this. So if you have this as the normal length, you can stretch it to this. Can you see how much give it has? It's quite bouncy. So I might be a bit too tight, I don't know. I mean, I'm generally not bothered about these things because my chest circumference is very small, so if the sweater is too big, which it generally is, I'm not too fussed about it. But if it's too, I don't think I've ever made a sweater that's too small, to be honest. Anyways, this is a very chaotic episode. I am so sorry. I'm just really excited to show you all of the things that I am confusing myself quite a lot. Anyways, Pippin sweater, really enjoyable pattern. I love the stitch pattern. It is very easy to memorize. I really like Sophie's patterns in general. I think they're always really clearly written. The only thing that I have to, or I would like to touch on her writing style is that it is very beginner friendly, but to me there is just too much text. There's just too much going on once you open the pattern, because she's so thorough with everything that she has loads of like paragraphs where she describes what to do, what she recommends with YouTube links, etc. So the first, I would say, like 5 or 6 pages of the pattern itself are just not only just yarn and materials, etc., and sizes, but also how to do a folded over collar, how to do the stitch pattern, how to do short rows, etc. So it can be very overwhelming for someone who opens it up for the first time. That's the only thing I want to touch on in that regard. Apart from that, I've not had any problems so far. I mean, I'm also not very far. I think the collar will be a bit high on the neck, because I've noticed a lot of her patterns have a really high, almost standing collar instead of like a one that is laying flat. So it's going to be interesting to see what this one does. I'm not really a fan of those standing ones, because to me it just looks a bit odd, but that is also due to the amount of like how deep you go with the front or how high you go with the back, essentially, all due to short rows. So that is something that I am very interested in seeing. I've also, I think I mentioned that last time, I've also not done the recommended fold over collar like she says in her pattern. In terms of the fold itself, I used Petite Knit's technique, because I think it just gives me the neatest results. Sophie, I think, says that you should do a purl row, but I don't like the look of it, so I opted for that modification. So far, really happy with it. Very fast progress. I mean, you generally have something very fast anyways with raglans, because you have to increase for a while. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with this. This has been a really nice project on the go because of the stitch pattern, and now that I have everything set up, I've done the short rows, etc., I can just take this with me on the way to work, on the way to wherever I'm going, and know what to do. Okay, I have 2 more projects to show you, and the first one is something that you haven't seen for such a long time. I cast this one on in July, August, something around that time, last year in summer, and I haven't worked on it for months. and it is my porcelain sweater. It has been living in this project bag for such a long time that it kind of became a piece of my decor because I kind of forgot about it as well. But I picked it back up because I wanted to finally finish it and not have any more like super old whips lingering around, and because I also really want to have the project. So the porcelain sweater is by Lene. It is a very popular design now. I feel like everyone has made one now. I really like her designs in general. I think they are very classy, very nice and aesthetically pleasing. This is the first one that I have made from her, and it's a bit of a mess, I have to say. It is a colour work drop shoulder pattern. This is what I have so far, and the first colour work portion, this one here, you knit it flat. I have never made colour work flat. I have seen other people actually transform this into a steeked piece, so they also can knit the first colour work in the round, which is ingenious. I should have tried that as well, because my gauge is very uneven. It is very lumpy bumpy because of it. I mean, I really tried my hardest with this, but at a certain point I just gave up and I was like, I'm just gonna finish it, and whatever is gonna happen happens, and that's fine. The back I think is a little bit better. It's a little bit neater. It's not great though. And because I was fairly frustrated with the first colour work portion, and then I read through the pattern, and to me at that time it just didn't make any sense, I put it aside and I didn't want to know any more about that colour work portion. But like I said, I picked it back up, I worked on it, and I finished the second chart. So this one here. It looks really good on camera. I feel like in real life it is a little bit more difficult to see the actual leaves. As you can see, the colour work is very different from here to here. I think that's mostly due to how I held the yarn. I held the contrast colour closer to the body on this section, whereas on this one it kind of blurs into the background a little bit, and that is, like I just said, due to how you hold the yarn. I really try to be even with this, and I like colour work, but I wouldn't say I'm the best at it. I know there's definitely room for improvement because my colour work is always too loose. I know this might sound strange to a lot of people because most of the times it's too tight, but for me it's always too loose because I want my floats to be really long and bouncy and stretchy so it doesn't pull. And because I want the floats to be super stretched out, the whole stitch gets stretched out, which makes it too big. And you can really see the difference in the stitches between the white portion and then the actual colour work portion. You see how big those stitches are compared to these? It's kind of bad. But to be honest, I just really want to finish this. I know that this leaf motif, it was very confusing at first. Because what happens, I think I can tell you that much about the pattern. What happens is that the motif itself, so the leaves, this here, has a different stitch count than the portion up here and down here. And because of that, you need to increase just before you get to the actual leaf motif. You need to increase a certain amount of stitches. And I did not understand what she meant by that. Now, after some time away, I now understand what she means. And clearly I have finished it. I didn't make a mistake in the chart, which is always a good thing, because that is what happened to me in the first one. which is really frustrating if you knit a few rows and then it turns out that you've made a mistake and you have to rip it all back, because ripping back colour work is not fun. Anyways, I am almost done with the body. I have one more motif to go and then the ribbing, and I am really happy with the colour choice, to be honest. I know that there are loads of variations of it now, and there are some really pretty ones that I would like to have as well, but I think one of these is enough for me with all the stress and headache that I got with this piece. The yarn that I'm using is Drops Karisma. This is a superwash wool in the colour 1. It's just a off-white colour, and the colour 4, which is a chocolate brown. They are both DK. The pattern recommends a DK weight. A lot of people actually use a fingering weight and the mohair, which makes the chart, or like the motifs should I say, blur a little bit together, which is also a really nice look. But because I wanted to decrease mohair in my sweaters and in my stash, also cost wise, I opted for a wool yarn in a DK weight, and I'm really happy with the result. It's going to be very interesting what is going to happen once I block it, because the white is smaller and the motif is bigger because the stitches are bigger. So I hope it evens it out and I don't get any weird like wobbly bits. that would make me cry. But yeah, just gonna keep working on it. This has been really nice in the evening, and just to, I don't know, knit 1 or 2 rows. I'm not super focused on it, I have to say. It's just something to pick back up and have on the side, which has been really nice. I am making size, the smallest one, I think it's XS to S. She has them in like increments, but yeah, I think I'm making the smallest size, and I'm working on 4mm needles. I think that's 4mm needles, and yeah, just gonna keep working on it. If you're interested in how I knit my colour work, I use, let's put this back in, I use my thumb colour work thingy. I don't know what the correct name is. This is what I use. It has these 2 like loopy hooks, and what you do is you put the contrast colour that is on this side, that is closer to your body, on here, and then the other one on here, and that makes it really nice because you don't have the yarn on one finger and all tangled up. Let me see if I can show you. Here. So this is the contrast colour, and you loop it in like this. There we go. It's one through here, and then you have the other one, and that goes through here. And I like to weave it like through my fingers like this. And you can see now that when I knit, how do I show this way? When I knit, there's a really nice big gap in between, so I can pick them separately without worrying about having like pick the other one, or like having threads of the other yarn where I don't want it in it. Yeah, so I just thought I would show you that really quickly, because I do get a few questions on how I knit my colour work, what I would recommend, etc. And this thumb, well, it's not a thumb pick. You can also have it for your thumb. I don't like that one. I prefer to have it on my pointer, because that's also how I knit. I think to me this has really been a lifesaver. I bought this fairly soon into my knitting journey, and I think this is one of the best tools that I have to help me with colour work, to have it neater, to have it to also be able to knit faster. And I would recommend you try this out if you're interested in it. Right, I have one more whip, and this is a new project that hasn't been cast on at all, but I am really far along. This is the Semper sweater by the Knit Purl once again, in the size 2, and this is what I have. I'm really far, aren't I? So I have already split for sleeves, and I have also done quite a lot on the body. Now the reason why I am speed knitting through this is because this will be a birthday present for a friend of mine, and the birthday is at the end of March, so that's why I had to cast it on as soon as I got the yarn and get going with it, and I'm really happy with the progress so far. I am using Drops Karisma because this is just really one of my all-time favorite wool yarns. In the color 56, it's a really nice brown, but it's like a grey browny color. It's almost heathered, and it gives you a really nice fabric. I have the folded over collar, and this time I tried something different. I tried, instead of a complete purl row for the fold, I tried a yarn over. I know this is also a possibility. I'm not super pleased with the result, because what happens, because you have the yarn overs, is you have like all of these holes, and it seems to be very square. It's not like a round fold, it's very like, this is the knit and then this is where it stops. Yeah, it's not really rolling over, but I think for a present it's fine. I mean, most people don't really know about what is a good knitted garment and what not, or what techniques you could have used, etc. So I don't think he's going to be very bothered. It is very stretchy, which was something that I had to be really careful with, because I wanted to have a good sitting collar. Now I said before, because of my Pippin sweater, that the collar from Sophie, like the collars that Sophie designs, sit very high on the neck. I really hope that that won't be the case for this one. I have a feeling it will, because the short rows are not as deep as I would have liked. But I didn't want to change anything. I just wanted to make the garment based off the pattern and not have any modifications, etc. But yeah, I'm really happy with the fabric. The pattern is just a really simple raglan pattern. I do have some troubles with the gauge though. I asked on Instagram if I should change, if I should rip back and redo the neck, because I found out when I had like enough up here to measure, I found out that instead of a 21 stitch gauge, I had a 17 stitch gauge on 4.5mm needles, which is what the pattern recommends. Now Sophie is a tight knitter, she also says that in her patterns, and a lot of people had to size it down like me. And I mean, I'm not too fussed, because I think more positive ease is always better, especially for a male body and a male, not male garment, but a male receiving the garment, than having it too tight. So what I did was, eventually I did change to 4mm needles, because at that point I pulled on the yarn really tightly on the 4.5mm needles, and that kept hurting my hands and straining my wrists, etc. So I thought I would just go down to 4mm needles, and the gauge just did not change at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just, because I'm speeding through this, that I am very loose, or if this particular yarn is just very thick compared to other DK weights, like this colour. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. Essentially I don't know what it is, but at the end I decided I don't bother. It is a present. He likes to have baggier clothes, and I would rather have a sweater that's a bit too big on him than a sweater that's too small. So I bought 12 balls of this. I hope this is going to be enough, because it is a female, like a garment designed for a female body. The yardage will change because men have generally a longer torso and longer arms. So I bought a little bit more. I am debating whether I should order more now or if I should wait and see. I think I'm gonna do that, with the possibility that I won't be able to get the yarn. But I'd rather see if I do have enough and not spend more money to then have the yarn lying around. So yeah, this is the Semper sweater. Maybe next time you will see a full sweater, I don't know. I am trying to gauge how much yarn one balls, or how many inches one ball gives me, so I can see will I have enough for the body or not. So that's why I have a little stitch marker here. And I'm gonna finish the body first, I think, and then start with the sleeves, or maybe do the sleeves and then finish off the body. I haven't decided yet, because I got the measurements last week, and now I can really see, okay, what's going on, how much longer do I actually need to make it, etc. And I think blocking will also be definitely on my side if I don't have enough yarn, because I know Drops Karisma is a very stretchable yarn. It is a very moldable yarn after washing, and I wanted to use a superwash wool for him as well, so he can chuck it in the washing machine if he feels like it, or hand wash it, whatever he prefers. I would prefer he hand washed it, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, finally, those are all of my whips. I have quite a few on the needles on the go now. But to be honest, I'm in a really good place at the moment. I don't feel super overwhelmed. I am happy with the projects that I have, and I'm just gonna slowly work on them, finish off the long-term whips, and yeah, just keep going, because spring is around the corner. I'm not in spring mood just yet. I never really am for making garments, because to me there isn't a big difference between winter and spring garments, but we'll see. Right, I have some yarn acquisitions. I bought some yarn, and I'm really happy with it. I don't have the space for it, I realized, so that means I have to knit more and faster and quicker. But yeah, I bought some yarn. The yarn shop that I get my drops yarn from, she had a little, so there were two things. There was the sale going on from Drops when I bought the yarn, which was all through February. They had an offer on all the woolly yarns, so Drops Karisma, Drops Nepal, etc. And because she needed space in her store, she got this yarn on offer as well. This is Bisegan Alino. This is what it looks like. It is a summer yarn. This is 50% linen, 50% cotton. Now on the website it did look purple. It did not look blue, and even the colour sounded purple. As you can see, it's blue. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. It's color 30. I can't remember what it was called in the shop. Oh, some yarn just came off. I don't know how I feel about it with blue yarn. I have so much blue yarn, and I realized I don't want to wear blue, yet I constantly gravitate towards like a light blue. It's very odd. Anyways, I got this because she needed space, and then I also got the last 3 balls of this color. This is color number 3, which is a nice beige, and it's the same yarn composition. This is a bit darker than the picture on the website, and this is a bit bluer than the picture on the website, so that was a bit of a surprise when I opened the parcel. But I am thinking with the blue, because I have quite a big amount of it, I could make a ranunculus. Now, I've been trying to make one for a really long time. I keep saying this year I'm gonna make one, blah blah blah, and then in the end I never do it. But this might actually be the year where I make one, because maybe a summer one will actually be worn and be finished. We'll see. Because of the linen content, it feels a tiny bit rough. So this is the first time me trying out this yarn as well. But yeah, got these. And then I also got some more Drops Daisy, because I really liked working with the daisy yarn, that I thought I might as well just get some more. This is the color 19. It's something called like marine blue, I think. It's a very nice blue. This is gorgeous. I have absolutely no words. I'm normally not a... like, I do like dark blue, but not on like the upper part, or like the upper half of my body. I like to wear like dark blue trousers. For work I have a dark blue like suit, etc. And this is just a really nice shade of the dark blue. For this I want to make the... the plan was to make sweater number 9 light by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I made the sweater number 9 once before, and then I had to give the sweater away because there were some issues with it. So I was thinking I could make just a really standard staple piece from my wardrobe in this nice blue. Now I also got the same Drops Daisy in the color 11, which is a darker beige. And I bought this to make the Elisabeth blouse. I think I have the same amounts of both of these colors. I can't speak anymore. But since I really like this blue and I like it so much, I was thinking I could switch the plans for these two. So I could make the Elisabeth blouse in this color by Petite Knit and sweater number 9 in this color. That is something to think about. I was thinking a nice basic dark blue thing, garment sweater, would be nice, but I really liked Petite Knit's picture of her Elisabeth blouse, which is also a marine blue, and I think I got influenced that I am debating whether I shouldn't change the plans for these two. I might have to check if I really have enough yarn for both of these projects, or how much I actually got, because I can't remember. But yeah, those are the plans for this. As you can see, I'm trying to buy yarn with plans in mind. I feel like my whole stash is just one big list of knitting plans, because I have dedicated, I would say 90% of my stash to a project, and then I just never get round to making it, because it either takes me a really long time to make it, or some new patterns come out and then I want new yarn and then the other one gets pushed back. I think you know how it is. Anyways, that is everything from me. I have no more yarn, no more projects to show you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the weather has been super nice wherever you are as well. I've been going on walks and runs recently. I am running my first 5k race this Sunday. I'm very nervous. 5k is like the max what I can do at the moment in terms of running. I only started running about a month ago, and then I had to stop for like 2 weeks because I got injured. Anyways, if you are a sporty person, then you know how it is, and it's been really nice. So I'm excited for that race, and then next week I'm gonna go back to that knitting group because I really enjoyed talking to the people yesterday evening. And yeah, I hope your mojo is in full swing. Let me know if you already are in spring mood. If you say winter adieu, it's okay to have spring now to get the warm weather back, or if you are still in winter mood and nice warm thick jumpers. I would be very interested in that. Anyways, let me know what you're working on in the comments. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm gonna see you next time with another video. Happy knitting. Bye.